If I told you right now that getting killed by a coconut falling on your head is more common than being attacked by a shark, would you believe me? It sounds absurd, right? Sharks, with their razor-sharp teeth, the boogeyman of the ocean, the haunting image from the classic movie, Jaws, that we rewatch every summer. And coconuts? They're for drinking, for making candy, for cooking with meat. One is a killer, the other is a snack. And yet, statistics show that about 150 people worldwide die from coconuts each year, while the number of deaths from sharks hovers around just 10. Why does our brain play such a spectacular trick on us? Why are we more afraid of a shark way out in the ocean than a coconut tree that could very well be in our own backyard? Welcome back to the channel. And today, we're going to dissect one of the funniest and most common logical fallacies of humankind. The "I see it a lot, so it must be true" fallacy. This is a psychological effect with a proper scientific name, the availability heuristic. But to put it in simple, everyday terms, it goes like this. Whatever our brain can recall most easily, most vividly, it automatically assumes is the most important and the most common. And what's easiest to remember? Things that are impressive, shocking, dramatic, and repeated over and over again. And who are the masters of repeating shocking and dramatic things? Yes, please give a warm welcome to the media. Our brain is basically a very loyal and gullible audience for the media. Let's take the most classic example, flying versus driving. Every time there's a plane crash, no matter where it happens in the world, it instantly grabs the spotlight. News channels will provide 24/7 coverage with sensational headlines, tragedy in the skies, the fateful flight, black box reveals horrifying truth. They'll have 3D graphics simulating the flight path, interview dozens of experts, and replay images of debris and tears. The whole world holds its breath. After watching a series of news reports like that, how do you feel when you step into an airport? Heart pounding, legs trembling, hands gripping the armrests, muttering a prayer, looking at the flight attendant as if she's the one sending you to your final resting place. You feel as if every flight is a gamble with death. But what's the reality? Car accidents happen every day, every hour. The number of people who die in road traffic accidents is thousands, even tens of thousands of times higher than in aviation accidents. But it's not cool. A news story about a motorcycle collision is just a small blurb in an online paper. Something like, at 3 p.m. today, at intersection X a traffic collision occurred. No 3D graphics, no expert analysis, no tragic background music. It's too normal, too boring, so our brain skims past it and forgets immediately. Therefore, even though the risk of dying from riding your motorcycle to the corner store to buy fish sauce is infinitely higher than flying halfway around the world, our brain still screams, planes are dangerous. Watch out. That is the power of seeing it a lot. This trap is set everywhere in our lives. Have you ever wondered why people flock to buy lottery tickets? Because the media only shows you one thing, the jackpot winner. They film the winner crying tears of joy, holding a giant check, talking about their dream of a new life come true. We see that image, and it's so vivid, so appealing. Our brain immediately drools over that prospect and thinks, wow, winning the lottery doesn't seem that hard. People win all the time. But the media never does a feature story on the 50 million people who bought a ticket and won nothing. They don't film an old man sadly crumpling up his ticket and sighing. Because that story isn't dramatic. Nobody wants to watch it. Our brain has no data on the 50 million losers, it only has data on the one winner. And so, it misjudges the probability in a major way. Another example. Turn on your local crime news channel. What will you see? Robbery, murder, rape, fraud, stabbings. A very grim picture of society. After watching, you don't dare to step outside after 9 p.m. You see everyone as a potential criminal. You clutch your bag for dear life. You believe the city you live in is truly unsafe. But in reality, the biggest risk you face daily might not be getting mugged, but slipping in the bathroom, eating a bad sandwich, or getting stressed out because your boss yelled at you. But are those things ever made into a 30-minute investigative report? No, they're too mundane. Your brain isn't fed that information, so it's not afraid of it. It only fears what it sees on TV. And in the age of social media, this "I see it a lot, so it must be true" trap has been elevated to a new level. More sophisticated and more painful. You scroll through Facebook, Instagram. What do you see? Friends traveling in Europe, old colleagues showing off their new car, a classmate's fairy tale wedding photos, some hot influencer preaching about success at 25. All you see are delicious meals, perfect bodies, romantic relationships, and dazzling achievements. It's all the highlight reel of other people's lives. Your brain, once again, does its job. It gathers this available information and comes to a very logical, but also very wrong, conclusion. Everyone around me is successful and happy, and I'm the only one who's a miserable failure. You don't see the friend who went to Europe, had to eat instant noodles for a year to save money. You don't see the colleague with the new car struggling to make monthly payments. You don't see the couple with the fairy tale wedding photos who just had a huge fight last night and almost broke up. Social media has fed our brains a severely distorted database, a virtual world filled with only the good stuff. And when we compare our real lives, full of struggles, to that virtual database, we feel insecure, anxious, and depressed, all because our brain confused what is shown the most with what is real the most. So why does our brain, such a sophisticated machine, make such a basic mistake? Because it's a machine designed for survival, not for statistical analysis. Thousands of years ago, when our ancestors lived in caves, if they heard that someone was mauled by a tiger at a certain stream, the brain would immediately register, stream equals danger. This mental shortcut helped them survive. Even if that tiger was long gone, it was a feature, not a bug. But when that ancient, outdated operating system is applied to our modern world, flooded with selected and sensationalized information, it starts causing problems. It makes us fear things that aren't that scary, desire things that are far-fetched, and feel insecure about our own lives. The world inside our heads is not the real world, but a version that has been edited, trimmed, and inflated by what we're exposed to every day. Realizing this isn't to blame the media or social media, but to understand our own minds better, so that next time you feel terrified about a certain risk, or feel envious of someone's life online, just pause for a second and ask yourself, wait a minute, is this really as common and worrisome as I think it is? Or is it just because I've seen way too much about it lately? So in the end, now that you know about this spectacular trick our own brain plays on us, the question remains, how many other beliefs, fears, and prejudices that we hold every day are not actually based on truth, but are simply the result of seeing it a lot, so we think it's true?